In a move that could have far-reaching political consequences for the ruling ZANU-PF and the nation, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga is contemplating challenging President Emmerson Mnangagwa in the party's elective Congress next year, as the two powerful gladiators head for battle royale amid a dramatic realignment of forces, deep state sources have told the Newshawks. This comes as Chiwenga moved this week to strategically de-escalate dramatically rising political temperatures between him and Mnangagwa, saying his rival will be the uncontested ZANU-PF candidate in the 2023 elections. It also came as Chiwenga's top business executive ally Caleb Dengu, who has said Mnangagwa is illegitimate and must not run in 2023, last week slipped out of the country to catch a breath of fresh air in the Netherlands as the president's hounds turned the heat on him, threatening him with a fierce backlash and financial ruin. Mnangagwa's legitimacy as party leader is being challenged in the courts by party member Sibath Mnangagwa. Although Mnangagwa says he is acting alone, his move is overwhelmingly supported by the Chiwenga faction. An official in the ZANU-PF top 10 said, "Let the courts deal with the matter. It's important for us to follow the constitution and internal processes." The defeated, yet still alive ZANU-PF faction, G40, is also supporting the move. This has created a convergence of forces between the Chiwenga camp and the dormant but resurrecting G40 group. Maneuvers are underway by Chiwenga and G40 strategists to realign forces within ZANU-PF and challenge Mnangagwa head-on next year. Inside sources said after Mnangagwa reneged on the deal with Chiwenga prior to the November 2017 military coup that ousted the late former President Robert Mugabe to serve only one term and allow his deputy to come in 2023. Gloves are now off within the ruling party over unresolved leadership issues. The fallout within the party leadership is serious. "We are heading for battle royale between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga next year," a source said. That is how politics within ZANU-PF and state institutions is currently shaping up. The unresolved leadership question can no longer be managed and swept under the carpet. It has got to be settled politically, and that means through Congress next year. There is no question of another military coup. Well, perhaps a palace coup might happen, but not a putsch. The source added. When Mnangagwa took over, there was a clear understanding that he will not seek re-election in 2023. However, Chiwenga and others were shocked to see him telling the world in an interview in September 2018 during the 73rd session of the UN General Assembly in New York that he would seek re-election in 2023. That was never agreed. After that, Mnangagwa and his allies moved to gear up and launched a campaign during the December 2018 ZANU-PF conference at Mzingwane High School in Isigadini for him to serve 2 terms. At that time, it became clear Mnangagwa had broken ranks and reneged on the deal, another source said. That worsened internal strife and infighting fueled by the White City grenade attack in June 2018, which most ZANU-PF leaders know was an inside job. The 1 August 2018 killings in Harare in broad daylight and the January 2019 stay-away and bloodbath that left many dead exacerbated the situation. The political war of attrition between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga recently found expression in the president's controversial new biography as the internecine clashes over unresolved leadership issues play out in the party ahead of its elective Congress next year. That came as independent Norton MP Tembam Liswa threw the cat among pigeons through a public voice note message in which he disclosed that Mnangagwa's former advisor Chris Msbangwa, leader of war veterans and a former minister, has been plotting to remove Chiwenga. He said Msbangwa was recorded by the late Zimbabwe National Army Commander Lieutenant General Edzai Chimonyo talking about that. Mnangagwa in August launched his authorized biography titled A Life of Sacrifice, Emmerson Mnangagwa, which book reviewers and political analysts say exposes the widening rift between the two. The 154-page biography, which Mnangagwa described as a brief window into his life, was authored by Eddie Cross, a former opposition MDC high-ranking official and MP. It is a hagiography for Mnangagwa which depicts Chiwenga in negative light through its narrative. Cross, Mnangagwa's biographer and new loyalist, said the president would brook no nonsense from those threatening his grip on power, a warning to Chiwenga. Mnangagwa, who at the time of the coup, had fled the country to South Africa after his mentor cum tormentor Mugabe had hounded him out, only returned after Chiwenga led the coup that sent Mugabe packing. Mugabe later described Mnangagwa as his tormentor. The book, which has been reported on by the Newshawks since launch, reveals that Chiwenga's appointment as co-deputy, together with Kembo Mahati, who resigned early this year after a CX scandal, was part of Mnangagwa's coup-proofing ploy. Mnangagwa appointed General Philip Valerio Sabanda to succeed Chiwenga as commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Sabanda, according to the book, is possibly the best soldier in southern Africa and a man that was deeply respected in the army. Mnangagwa's actions drew little attention, but what the president was doing was closing the door on any possibility of the military-assisted transition, military coup, being repeated. He needed to know that the security services were led by men in whom he had confidence as professionals, the book says. Differences between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga played out when the latter demanded that a state of emergency, martial law, be declared during the 2019 riots, which had been triggered by a 150% increase in the price of fuel. When it became known that a state visit to Russia was planned for the week beginning the 14th January 2019, disturbing intelligence was received that disturbances were planned, the book reads. Cumulatively, this has now divided the party down the middle, leaving it regimented into two major factions led by Mnangagwa himself and Chiwenga. The Mnangagwa group is mainly Midlands and Masvingo provinces based, while the Chiwenga one has threads cutting across different regions, although its main base has roots in the three Mashonaland provinces, Mashonaland East, Mashonaland West and Harare. Other provinces constitute the middle ground. Some of Mnangagwa's key allies include July Moyo, whose relations with the president are now touch and go. Owen Mudhengcube, Larry Mahima, Daniel Mackenzie Cube, Joram Gumbo, Frederick Shava, Apa Muchinguri Kashiri, Paul Mavima, Aman Marwira, Monica Mtsbangwa, Ziyambi, Kazim, and unhappy battlers like Mtsbangwa, among others. Chiwenga is mainly backed by disgruntled former ministers in the party, including those now working at party headquarters led by ZANU-PF Secretary for Administration Albert Mpofu. He also has the support of those with security backgrounds, including former Presidential Guard Commander retired Major General Anselm Sanyut and retired Lieutenant General Martin Chidondo. Chiwenga's marksman is retired Lieutenant General Engelbert Rujaj, who last year in July challenged Mnangagwa in his ZANU-PF Politburo meeting over the growing divide between him and those who put him in power. The factions have now crystallized and solidified over the past 3 years. Most senior party leaders have taken a position and now know where they belong, although there is big middle ground among those in the middle and lower ranks, as well as foot soldiers, a source said. This projects ZANU-PF's clan, ethnic and identity politics, as well as factionalism based on personalities, class, or material interests that have toxified and polarized Zimbabwe's body politic since 1980. The volatile situation is made all the more explosive by the dangerous backdrop of events such as the June 2018 White City bombing in Bulawayo, the shooting at Rujaj's Harare house in October last year, and, most recently, The mysterious burning of ZANU-PF senior official Patrick Chinamasa's house. Chinamasa is a Mnangagwa loyalist. Mnangagwa is cornered in a high-stakes internal power struggle maneuver over his dubious legitimacy as ZANU-PF leader in the aftermath of a recent High Court application by Mnangagwa which reflects factional strife and his faltering grip. Repeated efforts to get comment from ZANU-PF spokesperson Simon Kayamoyo failed.